This is the Carty Method Podcast.
Hey, welcome to another episode of the Carte Method Podcast. It is me, Steve Carty. It is Portfolio Lab, and it's Thursday. Thursday, I look at your industry level assignments. This week is no different. It's week 25. This week, I asked you to make a 1 second plus photo, meaning use a longer than 1 second exposure. Use a 1 second longer, 1 second plus shutter speed for your exposure. And I wanted you to create a vertical image. If you're a people shooter, I was asking you to create motion blur or some sort of ghosted movement. If you shoot places, I asked you to use some long exposure to show some sort of movement, flowing water, light trails, maybe a night scene. And if you shoot things, experiment with creative blur or dynamic product storytelling. This is why this matters. Long exposure demonstrates advanced technical control and creativity, adds atmosphere, and it adds storytelling ability to your photos. So, are you ready? By the way, if you're interested in being a part of this whole thing that I have going on here with Portfolio Lab, you have to go to thecartymethod.com/Portfolio Lab to sign up. All right, we have some submissions to look at today. We're going to start with JV. Jay says, here we have 1 million perfume. Shot with the A6700, 17 to 70. 2.8, 100th of a second, f5.6 at 3.5. In other words, 3.5 seconds with an AD200 Pro. This is JV. Jay, thanks for submitting. So Jay, there's something here, my guy. There's something here. Technically, this is really good. I can see that you put a lot of effort into this composition. For me, this is one of your best yet. The way that you used a 3.5 second exposure, can see that you're using some LED trails in the background. This is a yes. The product is tack sharp. You have really good focus. And again, it's an interesting product to choose for a product photo for your portfolio. You not only followed the brief, but you gave me something that is an absolute banger. It also would have applied for the reflections assignment. This is good, Jay. For me, I think this is absolutely an 11, and I think this is like literally one of the best photographs that you've made so far. This is incredibly strong. You should be very proud. The amount of detail and care with this product, Jay, is very apparent. I want you to watch your focus. You can see as I'm zooming in to 100%, it doesn't hold up quite as much in the focus. So I know you're shooting with oops, you're not allowed to see that. I know you're shooting with a Sony A6700. At some point, an upgrade has to happen because it's at the point now where you're outgrowing your gear. When we go to 100%, our pictures can't fall apart. So that's now you're limited by your lens and your sensor. So this is the next natural thing for you, JV, is you have to upgrade because now your photography is getting good, really good. But what's happening is your gear isn't good enough. So you're going to be making really great work. And then your clients are going to look at it at 100% and they're going to be like, what's going on here? So that is what I want to kind of help you avoid. And you're going to avoid that by upgrading. Promise you, upgrade your camera with the company that you're in right now, being in Portfolio Lab. You're going to make the money back that you paid for that camera very quickly. All right, that, guys, is JV. Thanks for submitting, JV. We're giving you an 11 on this one. This, again, is one of your best executions. I really want you to stay in on this quality and really figure out how you can upgrade from that Sony A6700. All right, Next on deck, this is Malik Brand. Malik says, I wanted a dark album cover look. Excited for your feedback. Sony A7 III, 85mm 1.4, shot at ISO 50, f10 at a 2-second exposure. Shot with one newer strobe in a strip box. This is Malik Brand. Malik, thanks for submitting. You definitely have something here when it comes to doing double exposures with the face. It's something that's always kind of tricky, and because you have the same exposure here and the same exposure here, these two faces are kind of now looking like some sort of a morph. What you're wanting to do is get full exposure here and then less exposure here, so you still see this as a main face, but then this face appears ghosted just a little bit more. Or you have him move so he's not just turning, so you're shooting his face on top of his face. You're shooting like an extension of his body, which now means that the two flashes don't overlap and this double exposure doesn't look so like AI generated. You know what I mean? Just to show you some of the double exposures that I've done with faces, and just the way that I do it, just to make it a little bit different. This guy is moving through the frame, so there's not much of like him being shot on top of. He's also starting from further away from the light, and he's moving towards the light, and as he gets to the edge, I have my perfect exposure. So it seems like you can see it fades in the background. That's one way of shooting multiple exposures with a person with a face. And another example of it, give me 1 second here. This is, I shot this for Nike Women. Again, really long exposure. I think I did a full 1 or 3 second exposure here. But you can see she's going through a whole movement. So you can see her from crouching down, from kicking her leg up, and you see all of that in the same photo. So Malik, I do appreciate the swing, and this is the last one where rather than having your subject picture here and then they turn their head and picture here, I pan my camera on the tripod. This is the biggest secret you're going to learn today, and I shouldn't even be telling you because it's brilliant. But I move the camera as the flash is popping. So I'm able to get this kind of look, right? Which now it's like, and this kind of double shot, like it's a little bit of a better idea than the head turn. So I want you to be thinking about how you can push this and make this like something that's really your own. This is good for a first swing, but again, I would work on slow shutter speeds, 1 pop, but then a bright light so you have a little bit of ghosting. But again, this is still a very good swing. A very good swing for me from Malik Brand. Well done, Malik. All right, this is Miss Denise Tuggle. Shot in studio, Nikon D850, 24-75, ISO 100, f11 at 1.6 seconds. Shot with 2 strobes. This is Denise Tuggle. Denise, thanks for submitting. Denise, there's a vibe here. There's a vibe here. And I mean, the way that you move the can so you can see coca and then cola on the other side is really trippy. Like I was gonna like be like, Denise, what's going on with seeing Recycle Me, see you again soon, although that's kind of cute, and seeing the barcode. But then I looked at the way that you moved the can. You're actually seeing around the can somehow, and you've managed to do the whole Coca hyphen cola and then 0 sugar in the blur. And I don't know, like, how in a million years you were able to do that. Like, that's insane. Denise, this is quite profound for me. You can see your spacing is just a little bit off. But I can't knock you too hard. You can see what it looks like as an 8x10. It's just your framing. You have to figure out a way to get this framed up in the center. But this is a profound idea that I would really love to see you execute more of. This is great. Like, just, there's something so magic here. I'm very proud of you, Denise. You did very well. This is a great idea, and really nice black and really nice reflection. So well done, Denise. It's hard, your framing. Framing is hard when you're doing like motion. So I appreciate that. Just stay with it. All right. So this is Mr. Kevin Curtis. It's a shot. This is a single shot of a Brabus Rocket 900. Started out as a 911 Turbo S. A7R4 with a Sony 50mm, ISO 200, f14 at 2 seconds, 2 full seconds. Shot with the newer Q300 strobe off to the right. This is Mr. Kevin Curtis. Kevin, thanks for submitting. So there's something here, but I'm wondering if this feels just a little too light painty, a little bit too like you're just waving red light in front of the car. It doesn't hit as hard as it could if it was just like this bar dragging, like just this light bar dragging that way. You know what I mean? You still see the Brabus underneath. For me, this takes away too much of the back windshield, the aero fins. Like, you're hiding too much of the car here. And it's not other than color, it's not related to anything in the shot. And then obviously this is shot in warehouse, so I'm seeing the like rubber baseboard and the red wall of the spot. So for me, that also is kind of distracting. I don't know. For me, I would have tried to do like shot the picture and then moved, like rotated the camera so I got some sort of trails from the end of that light bar. I feel like this one's a bit of a miss, Kevin, because there's not an idea or a direction behind your, like, the color wave. There's no rhyme or reason to it. So for me, that feels like less I mean, I know you did it intentionally, but it's not adding to the picture. I think the picture would have been stronger without it. For me, how I would have shot this is I would have come around here. I would have gone in that way. I would have focused just on the ass of the car and that light bar. And then I would have clicked the flash, and then I would have moved the camera. So there was like a drag with the light bar and some of the other things in the camera. And then it kind of makes sense, but it's still like a tight car photo. This one for me is a bit of a miss, Kevin. I hope it helps, but let me see what else you shot during this set. This one for me is it's not as strong as your other portfolio pictures. All right. This is Mike Graves. Mike says Sony A7 IV with a 135, 1.8, and also ISO 100, f 5.6 at 1 full second. With an AD200 Pro 2 softbox. This is Mike Graves. Mike, thanks for submitting. Mike, there's something here. Let me look at it a little closer. You're just getting a little bit, almost, I would call it too much ghosting. It's almost like too much ghosting. For me, you could have had it just with doing this light bar on the back, but it looks like the way that the shutter and what's happening in the front, I'm not sure if it's smoke or what this ghosting is and what this ghosting is on the side. This is close though, Mike. This is close. This is close. I'm still trying to figure out if you're darkening the black in the background. Just trying to see exactly what you're doing. You have something here though. You have something, the goggles, the branding, the jacket. You have to make sure you're not including too many brands because this is a Burton jacket. This is not Burton glasses. This is another brand glasses, and the glasses are kind of the main thing in the shot. So in this case, just crop here so you cut out the Burton logo, because this logo is a bit too hard to take out in post. But this is a really good swing. It's a good swing in concept. Execution is kind of for me like a 6 or 7 out of 10. This is black. Like this jacket is black. The face mask is black, and these lenses are black, but you can see only the lenses are reading black, but you have black here. So that ghosty kind of hazy kind of feeling is like a quality loss that the brand is like, the jacket's black. It doesn't look black. It looks gray. So that's where I'm like, but I do see the glasses a little bit more true to life. For me, when you're doing product, and this is like on figure product photography, you have to be really, really careful, like how ghosty you get. You have to select which ideas and like that you merge together. For me, I would love to have seen this with just clean, perfect light without necessarily any ghosting. Yeah, for me, this is again a good swing, Mike. It's just, again, you're my accelerator. I'm trying to push you to the next level, and also help you make work that goes into your book. This one is not quite there yet. And again, also remember, for you, your how do you set up your velveteen so you don't need to darken the background? You can't get black velveteen and then be waving light in front of it aimed at camera without getting haze. You're gonna get haze in your like whenever you aim light at the camera, it lowers contrast. You're gonna get haze. So that's why this image has haze. So the black background is also going to have all kinds of haze because of this light. How you get the black background to render black is you don't do an LED bar like this on top of it, and then the black background will render jet black. For me, you're trying to combine two ideas that I wouldn't necessarily ever combine, like trying to get a jet black, but then also trying to do like light painty kind of stuff in long exposure. Like those two don't fit together very well. I hope you understand. In this situation, use gray. I use a gray background, or shoot at night outside on a tripod. So there's a little bit like you're actually getting some ambient, and now you're seeing some of the scene. Like that adds depth to the photo. There's a reason to use black velvet, but for me, this isn't a scene where I would ever use that. And if you look at on my site, and when I use, like, this is black velveteen, but because I'm doing that long shutter, it does have a bit of a haze to it. You know what I mean? It just does. But when I'm not doing that, and I'm just like, you can see black renders as black. Like it's just black renders as black when you do it like not with like any kind of odd shutter speeds. Like here, black just renders as black. I hope that helps you, Mike Graves. All right, let's get into Doyle Daniels. Carty Crew, here's a composite of a 1 second frame and an 8 second frame. Z8 50mm 1.2 ISO 100 f16 8 second exposure 2 light setup. This is Doyle Daniels. Doyle, let's get it on. Doyle, this is a yes. This is a yes. It's just for me, my only issue is your light placement. This rear light. The light that's back here, you're letting that hit him, his face, yes, but you're also letting it hit his nose, which is a no. You're not allowed to let that rear light hit his nose, which means it needs to go back around him more. So if this is the background and he's here and that light is here, it needs to be here. Or it can stay here, just move him this way until you can place him and then turn that light so it doesn't hit his nose. For me, Doyle, everything about this picture is a yes. Every single thing about this picture is a yes, but you have to lock in placement of your rear lights because this is not accurate play. Literally, it's the difference between your light. It's the difference between your light being here and here. Like that much of a difference and that much of a degree you need to, and you still get this highlight here. You still get this highlight on his face, but now you don't get this highlight. And look at how much better his nose and his face looks when that highlight isn't there. You see how much stronger that is now without that highlight? So that's what we're trying. That's the one thing. The composite, sick. The idea, sick. Like really, really strong idea, Doyle. I just want you to watch like that nose shadow. It's the most important thing when we're lighting to white or lighting with rear lights, to make sure that that rear light doesn't touch the nose. And we do, like, I'm doing it here because you can see I have this rear light here that's coming in from this way. And you can see it's putting a highlight here and it's putting a highlight here, but it's not touching his nose because that would fuck with the Rembrandt light that I have coming in here. So that tweak is like really, really, really important. I'll show you another example. This was done natural light, but conditions made it so like I just have him tucked in a window. If I could, I would have pulled him out, but I would have lost too much exposure on him. So I had to sacrifice on Bobcat Goldthwait that. But where's another good example? Here it is. So white background, 2 lights in the background, but I've pulled him, like this is him, this is camera position, and then I have light in the background here, hitting the wall, and then you move your subject, you keep moving him until there's no fall off on the nose. And then you can see I have just this rim of white. And then I'm using blockers and a whole bunch of other stuff to like do this light. This is a complicated lighting setup, but I hope that helps you, Doyle. This is really, really, really close. Like so close. It's an 11 in idea. This could have been submitted for high concept image. You use this for a slow shutter speed. I want you to execute this picture again with this guy and watch. And again, from here on in with your light, watch that one thing where the nose shadow or where the nose highlight is. Super important. I hope that helps you. This is Doyle Daniels. It's definitely an 11 for me, Doyle, if I didn't tap that 11 like 5 times already. Well done. All right. Jordan White. Jordan White says, hey, Carty, here's my submission. It's a composite of two 1.6 second frames. Sony a7 III, 50mm 1.8, ISO 100, f16 at 1.6 seconds. This is one 200 watt strobe. This is Jordan White. Jordan, thanks for submitting. Jordan, there's something here. There's something here. It's just about the framing where the shoes are here and here, right on top of the edge, and there's so much space here. You're putting them in front of a busy wall. This shoe is competing with these tiles. And then this little patch of the next thing is distracting. And then this patch is distracting. So for me, and then this patch is distracting. So this idea in this location, there's 4 different locations here. And there's 4 different pictures. You can see there's the pictures that her shorts are up against. There's a picture that her shins are up against. And there's the picture that her shoes are up against. And then the body language as to her stride isn't right. So you can see this leg, that leg for that back picture. You'd never shoot a person like in that stance if you're like shooting shoes. They're always like at 5 and 7 o'clock. You know what I mean? Like they've gone through the stride, always with the front leg forward. You got the front leg forward, but one leg is planted. So, and then the second like double exposure, I don't even know where that other foot is. So, cause you shot 2 feet like stacked on the same spot. So for me, this is too busy a location for like, even if this wasn't a double exposure, if this was just a straight picture, I'd say, why did you shoot here? So then that on top of the double exposure, and like, this is just wrong, Jordan. And I have to be hard on you because again, it all starts from idea. And I know you're in my accelerator, which means you have 10 photographers that are doing what you're trying to do, and they're ahead of you. They're like, that's the whole goal, is you choose those 10 photographers and you pick work from their portfolios that you wish was your work, and then you imitate that work. That's what phase 0 is. I know that this picture is not from your reference, from your mood board. This picture is from your head. And again, it's not from a location that you pre-scouted, and like you just, so for those reasons, it doesn't hit. You're not following my exact directions when it comes to somebody in my accelerator. Intelligent imitation. Find me the reference photo from this that you based this photo on. I know there's no reference photo. So because of that, that's why you're failing. So for me, this one is a miss. I need you to go back to phase 0, go back to phase 1 workbook and start really building work from those references. It's how you're going to move quicker, faster. I hope that helps you, Jordan. That is Jordan White. All right. Yeah. Doyle's saying, thanks for the love. Just such a dumb little miss. Bro, you won't make that mistake again. You won't make that mistake again because of the way that I just tuned that frequency. Like it's locked in. And again, sometimes in order to lock something in forever, it comes from a mistake. It comes from a mistake. So you can show that picture, Doyle, right? Like not everybody is going to see that, but the higher frequency, the photo editors, the art directors, like they are going to see that stuff, and that's the market that I'm trying to get you to speak to. So in a perfect world, you shoot it again. You know what I mean? In a not so perfect world, you show it, and later on you replace that idea with more perfect light. All right. Don't be all in your head. Hey, C. Dawson, thanks for subscribing. All right. So this is Kyle Kiono. I'm learning how difficult exposure can be. Thanks for exposing areas of improvement. I believe I need to try this again when I have proper use of lighting. A7 IV 50 millimeter, ISO 100, f16 at 1 second. Shot with the Husky Work LED and a cheap yellow gel. Now I'm worried about your light quality here, Kyle. Let's have a look. I'm worried about your light quality. Well, let's have a look. This is Kyle Kiono. Kyle, thanks for submitting. So Kyle, like, it's a good swing. It's a good swing. It's just like we can't light people with LED work lights. Like the quality of the light that's happening, and obviously the blurring, and this is not intentional blur. This is blur because of the equipment that you have. And Coca-Cola would not use a picture like this where the kids are not actually holding the Coke and they're in the background. Like, you built a teepee with the Cokes, but the kid, like, it's just the idea for me here is just wrong. What the Coke cans is on is wrong. It looks like they're in a Sears portrait studio, and you can see like the digitalness that's happening in the photo here, Kyle. This is a lack of light. Like all of these pixels down here, like this pixel density that you're seeing, this is a lack of light. So you can't save like what the cans look, but why are the kids in here? Like, again, this is Kyle. Phase 0 and phase 1 is you find the 10 photographers that are your inspiration and you imitate their portfolio, right? You imitate those 10 photographers and you put together that work in a mood board, and then one at a time you use those photos as reference to make work at that level for yourself with your own spin for your portfolio. You're not using reference photos, Kyle. Yes or yes? The reason that you struggled with this one is because you're not shooting with the reference in mind, right? You're just shooting an idea that you pulled out of your head, and sadly, you don't have enough experience for the ideas that you pull out of your head to hit, which is why you're failing, because you're trying to reinvent a wheel that's already established. Just look at something that Coca-Cola has done and then find one picture that you could imitate with one of your kids. Like it's like you're trying to make it more complicated. You're shooting inside when you don't have lights. Don't shoot inside if you don't have lights. I have a work light from that's some light, but anyways, Kyle, show me the reference photo from Ben Cole that this is the picture from him. Anyways, Kyle, this is a miss, okay? Just know that it's a miss. Let's not hold on to weak ideas strongly. You're holding on to a weak idea strongly. This is a weak idea. Let's have better ideas so then you can execute better pictures, okay? You don't have lights, so stop thinking that you can shoot inside. Stop thinking that you can shoot inside under bad conditions. Like, doesn't matter what kind of a camera you have. Bad light equals bad photography, irregardless of the camera. So until you learn light and get lights that are photography lights, you can't keep hacking at it. Go back to shooting outside, okay? Hope that helps you, Kyle. This is Kyle Kiono. All right. It's all idea and execution. Idea comes first. Idea and then execution. Your you're trying to come up with ideas while it's happening and solving problems while it's happening, and you end up with something that's a mess because it's based on no real idea. I hope that helps. Okay, guys, this is our last photo of the day. And again, there's not a lot of people submitting. So I don't know what's happening with life, whether it's summer or whatever, but this is for you. I'm here for you. I was going to not do today's show because there was so few submissions. But for the people who did submit, I want to review their photos. For the people who do show up and put work on the table, I show up and review them. All right. So it's our last photo of the day. For this week's assignment, I shot the OnCloud Cloud Nova 2 in the clouds. R5 RF 100mm 2.8 macro, ISO 100, 2.5 seconds, f32 with a variable ND filter and 2 strobes. This is Chris Fosta. Chris, let's get it on. Chris, there's something here. It's just the exposure and the color balance of the OnCloud. It's just the exposure and the color balance that's happening in here. Like, we're losing highlights, and also the color balance here is quite purpley. Like, and also just the pure floating feels like you could have just did this as a composite. Do you know what I mean? It would have been way cleaner if you just gave me a picture of a sky and then took a picture of a shoe in the studio and then dropped them together. For me, it's like the composure, like the composition of the shoe. Does OnCloud do this with their advertising? That's the next question. What does OnCloud's advertising look like? And do they do this and try to do this metaphor of like, for me, this kind of an idea, this is the idea, is you have a runner and they're holding balloon strings, and then on the end of the balloon strings up in the sky are shoes. And they're so like that's, or you do just the product, but it's balloon strings and it looks like, you know what I mean? There has to be more to it, Chris, than just this. It's composed well, but even if I do have some bleed onto the shoe from the sky, this, because of the light, looks too separate. It looks too composite-y for the background, so I'm not sure it hits. You're just gonna have to try this again. The neutral density and the f32 and like all of that, I think it's about trying to balance the actual exposure of outside. Take a light meter reading and it says X, and then you set your lights to match that light meter reading rather than what you did, which is shoot it at such a higher exposure. Yeah, for me, Chris, this is a bit of a mess. I just need you to try this again. I need it to not feel like a composite. How you make it not feel like a composite is you have someone's hand holding it up into the sky. You do like a bit of a silhouette with the shoe. Like somehow the light on the shoe has to feel like the light that the clouds are up against. So this feels like one picture and not two. I hope that helps, Chris. Again, it's a really good effort. I just, where I'm trying to take you, and I know like the inside the shoe here composite, like inside here, obviously the shoe is actually here because in there I would see your post work. But you have to lean in. You have to lean in on more of those elements that tell you that the shoe and this environment are one. Yeah, I hope that helps you, Chris. All right, guys, that is our last shot of the day. The last shot. It makes me sad that it's the last shot of the day, but it's all good. We do have our weekly afternoon little portfolio lab workshop. We got one planned today. We're talking about export settings for Lightroom Capture One, and I am going to talk about exposure because I feel like exposure and conditional exposure is necessary. I think it's necessary. So if you're in Portfolio Lab, make sure you're in the Zoom today. We're going to do it at 2:30. We're not going to change the time. Garan has life stuff happening. He's created an amazing presentation, but it's not fair for me to expect him to do it now 2 hours early. So 2:30. And for me, I'm going to do some video editing, and I might film something. I have 2 or 3 videos in the queue that I have to film. I have a bunch of videos that you probably haven't watched, so put so much effort into my videos, and I get so bummed when my own subscribers don't watch them. And if your subscribers don't watch your videos, the videos just tank. So it is what it is. But I'm putting out also. Here's another thing. I don't put out a video for 3 months, and like I do a video, it gets tons of views, an edited video. And then now for the last 3 weeks, I put out a video every Friday, and then I feel like my viewers get fatigued and there's too many videos to watch and they don't watch them. So I'm trying to find the right frequency as to how often I put out my videos. Guys, that was today's photo review. I'm going to tell you what today's assignment is, but not before I give some photos of the week. Then there's a few. Photo of the week number 1. This goes to JV. That's a photo of the week, JV. Thank you for submitting. Well done. And I know the start of summer, people are not on YouTube quite as much. I definitely agree. Well done, JV. But again, it's, yeah, what do you say? Photo of the week. It was very hard on you, Malik, but this hits. Photo of the week going to Mr. Malik Brand. Malik, well done, my guy. Again, I'm pushing you into new territory. I'm pushing you into a new area. I'm excited to see where your photography is going to go in the next several months. Photo of the week going to Miss... you know your name. Denise Tuggle. Well done. Denise. Photo of the week. Denise. Photo of the week. Well done, Denise. Photo of the week. All right, Denise Tuggle. Giving love to this photographer. He swung for the fences. This is Mike Graves. Mike, it's a photo of the week. You're going to reshoot it. You're going to reshoot this. But you have something, my guy, and I'm really trying to bring it out. Congratulations, Mr. Mike Graves. All right, I was again hard on this guy, but only because this guy, he's been with me for a year and a half. So my expectations of this guy, and he's also, by the way, this guy's also, he works full time, like 7 days a week. Takes care of his whole family, brothers, sisters. He's just a very generous guy, and he started photography so he could help even more. And he's doing almost $2,000 a month on the side because he actually follows all of my steps. This photo of the week goes to Mr. Doyle Daniels. Doyle, such a profound idea and execution. Very, very, very small mistake, but guy, come on. You're obsessed. I know that you'll just like call this guy and shoot it again. I know that that's the kind of guy, that's just the kind of guy that you are. And guys, our last big swing goes to Mr. Chris Foster. Chris, this is such a swing and you went through so much effort to get this picture to here, the thing that you're going to be happy to know is that, sorry, I didn't put the photo a week there. The thing that you're going to be so happy to know is your next swing with this picture will be less effort, higher result. So I'm proud of you. This is, again, a very, very good effort. Those are our photos of the week. So Portfolio Lab, if you want to join and hang out with me 4 times a month on Zoom and have your photos reviewed by me up to 8 times per month, that's twice a week. Just go to cartymethod.com/portfolio lab. The Zoom link's there. We change it every week, or we change it every once in a while, but yeah, you know, so people don't jump and then leave and then keep coming to our Zooms. Yeah, and basically, like, we do deep dive workshops which help the photographers who are developing their book with other related exposure, lighting, export, retouching, like other aspects of problems regarding photography beyond just taking the picture. So it's important. If you're smart, you show up. All right, week 26 next week. We are working on the high concept image. So if you would like to participate, and I'm hoping you're going to, the high concept image it's my favorite assignment to look at. So high concept image for week 26. I want you to create a visually striking, idea-driven photograph. Idea-driven. That communicates a clear concept or story in a single frame. Your goal is to deliver an image that feels intentional, stylized, and memorable. Something that could anchor an ad campaign, an editorial spread, or some sort of a fine art series. If you shoot people, craft a portrait or a group shot even, where every element, every pose, the styling, the props, the setting serves the central idea. If you shoot places, find or create a location scene that tells a story or symbolizes a bigger idea. That could be a surreal landscape, an altered urban environment, or architectural details staged with objects or lighting to evoke a mood or a metaphor. And if you shoot things, stage a product or an object or a still life so it represents an abstract concept like balance, like innovation, like fragility. I want a vertical single page image. Okay, this is due next week, Wednesday, midnight Eastern time, which is my time. This is why this matters. High concept photography images are the currency of top tier editorial, advertising, and fine art photography. High concept imagery, it demonstrates your ability to think like a creative director, to solve visual problems for your clients, and produce work that stands out in a crowded market. Mastering this skill is essential. It's so essential for building a strong portfolio that attracts, like, our portfolio is supposed to attract clients. And building high concept images and adding that to your book attracts commercial and editorial clients. And it also positions you as a photographer who brings ideas. You bring ideas, not just technical skill to the table. Again, I'm going to mention this workshop one more time. I got to tell you, you two are at the workshop every time. I mean, you've aged right before my very eyes, but you're at the workshop every time. I appreciate that. And also, just another reminder, know that I'm trying to find 1,000 true members, 1,000 true fans, people who are like, really appreciate what it is that I'm doing here, and they're willing to trade $5 a month for what it is that I do. Remember, I do commercial free lives. I could be making much more money, but during my lives, I feel like commercials are so disrupting, even if they make me money, that I don't show them. And I can do that because I have 177 members, but I'm trying to get 1,000. So you'll get wings after a year of being members, but you get a crown right next to your name. You get the best photo emojis on YouTube, and it shows me that you appreciate what I'm doing here. And also, if I get 1,000 members, my God, I'll take commercials off a majority of my content. Guys, I love you. Thank you so much for being here. I'll see you at 2:30 in Zoom.
This live stream was brought to you by Pixpa, the best website builder for photographers and creatives, and Indie, the best way to run your freelance business, and by you, the members and subscribers of the Carty Method. Consider becoming a member for $5 a month to show your support for our content, and we'll reward you. You get members-only content every month, and Carty has the best emojis on YouTube, and you'll get that crown badge next to your name. If you're building a photography business, make sure you join Portfolio Lab. How ready are you to be a pro? Take the Carty Method Pro Photographer's Readiness Scorecard. You'll always find helpful links in the show notes. Sharing is caring. If this content has brought you value today, share it, clip it, post it to your socials. Curating and sharing helpful content makes you an expert. Even if the content you're sharing isn't yours, be a curator and share this content with your network. Find your creative and business genius with the Carty Method.